Hello everyone, I am Paul with many voices, and this is actually take 2 of this video, because take 1, or at least during take 1, I was still known as the one with many voices. I had recorded this so far in advance that I believe 2 weeks after that I recorded this, I decided, okay, I'm going with the name Paul with many voices instead. And that reminded me that I had to re-record this, so I might as well. Anyway, welcome back to the Islandbound DLC prison, now renamed into the All DLC Archipelago, because, yeah, we got an entire group of islands here, no longer just one. I'm gonna go over everything in this video on what you can expect on this map. And I will be leaving a link to the download on the Steam Workshop in this video and every video involving this prison from now on. Also, I will be sharing this video as part of the download page on the Steam Workshop. Anyway, let's start with what has happened in the meantime. I was working on getting all of the, what were they called again? Notebook pages. Ah, yes. Those awful, useless game Bibles. And as you can see, I have all of them now. I'm gonna quickly check something. I'm gonna read episode 5.4. Because you may remember, yeah, okay, day 27, wow, 5 hours, look at this. When I ended my my run of this prison, because of the Going Green DLC, I was just over 5 hours into this prison. However, as I mentioned in the last episode of the Going Green prison, I've been working on the Islandbound prison. Nevertheless, and we're currently 30 hours in, so I spent 25 hours of my time in this prison without having shown anything. And I know it's kind of sad, but oh well, has to be done. Allow me to quickly dump these 3 chairs. Something that I discovered is that chairs in staff-only areas are useless because your staff, your guards, will choose to take their breaks over there rather than in the actual staff rooms that you have. So, yeah, you might want to get that sorted. As in... there. Okay. So, yeah, what has happened in the meantime? I have increased the capacity from whatever it was, I believe just 38 or something, to a whopping 200, spread all over these islands. These 2 were originally regular cells, now they are dormitories. This was supposed to be the execution chamber in death row, as these 4 cells were supposed to be death row as well. Only a temporary death row because, well, this... We'll end up with this. We'll end with this in the video, because this is the most fun area for me. So, I said that I would eventually probably make a dormitory out of this room, which I now have. So you've got about 12 capacity here, 4 chairs, lovely warden statues, and showers and toilets. Yeah. I've also thrown in custom flooring everywhere. I've added another layer of wall on this side here, purely for the transport of prisoners. As you can see, I've put walls all around the place. But this area purely serves for the transport of prisoners going from one end, one level of security, to another. So yeah, this simply didn't do it. So, custom flooring, added 3 dorms, changed 2 cells and dorms, and as far as maximum security prison goes, that's about it. The capacity of maximum security is now 48, with an overflow in the holding cell. So if I have more maximum security prisoners that I can hold, then they'll go into here. The cell grading is one of the most important things in this prison, for me at least. Something that I wanted to do, and something that I took my time in figuring out how to do it. I now have cells graded from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. And this is actually what I wanted to do from the very start. As you can see, cells have a maximum grade of 15, dorms only 10. So, there's the difference. The idea why I did this is when prisoners would come in, they have no rights to anything luxurious. So their entitlement, so to say, to the high quality cell is 0. And for every day, every single day, that, let me close this, they don't involve themselves in any of these misconducts, their entitlement goes up by 1 each day. So they come in on day 0, or day 1, so to say, and they'll be entitled to quality 0. And then, if at least the way that it works is as far as I remember, is if they have a completely new sentence. If they haven't done any time beforehand, then they'll be entitled to quality 0. If they've been transferred from one prison, one outside facility to this one, then they'll have a entitlement to like a quality 3 or 4 or even 10, depending on how they have behaved in the past. But for us, for this prison, I don't care. But as long as they don't mess around with any of these, then they'll go up each day by 1. So on day 5, they should all be in the dorm, these cells, or these cells. Also, forgive me, I have a very stuffy nose. Nothing Rona related, at least. In terms of the common room, the gym, the canteen, and the yard, they're all 3 out of 10. This is the way that I ended up with during the actual playthrough, that I built stuff. And that's the way that things will be. This is still a staff-only classroom meant for the the guard taster certification. So that's why it's a 4 out of 10. It's staff only. Nobody cares about that. I have, as I mentioned, increased the size of the workshop, but only by a little bit. I was originally supposed to remove this as well, this office, but I couldn't fit it anywhere else. So I just added a workshop saw and a workshop press, or 2 workshop saws, it seems, and a carpenter table in here. And the lawyer was originally here, has now been moved over here, and the foreman that was over here is now in medium security. We'll get to that in a second. I have 2 docs. I'm looking at a script here. I've written down all of the features so that I can remain on track for a change. This dock down here is the original dock that I started out with. Is for the... No. There. Inbound deliveries and outbound items. And the other dock, the second dock, the new one, is purely for inbound civilians, which leaves the... Actually, what I can do... is like this, because we're not gonna have inbound minimum, medium, supermax, criminally insane, and we're gonna not do legendary. So, like this is fine. The helipad is just for inbound prisoners. And it only says inbound because outbound it does whatever the hell it wants. Except for items. So that's garbage and exports. The original pathing around this facility was paving stone, which was just this boring thing that you see on the outside here, but I've changed it to grass and stone because it's a little bit miserable. You know, you see a little bit of green here and there. It's a little disgusting. This is not a happy place, but this is the place where you come in and you have to earn your place in the more luxurious side of the prison. Also, as I've implemented all of the DLCs, including going green, we have some recycling bins here and there. Custom flooring everywhere. Don't know if I talked about that already, but now you know. Let's see. That's. Okay, well, I guess that pretty much takes care of maximum security. You've seen the build-up of this, the original build-up. So go back to episode 0 or episode 1 to 5 to see that. However, I ended up episode 5 or episode 0 of Going Green with just the blueprints of whatever this would be. And this is medium security. Total capacity only 19. Thanks to these 2 cells. This was just a little bit of space that I had left and I didn't know what to do with. So otherwise it would be 17. I was just like, could use a little more. Medium security. You get here as a prisoner. If for 5 days you have no staff assaults, no murders, no escape attempts, no dangerous contraband, as long as you're not a gang leader or a gang lieutenant, so gang members are allowed, you have an estimated reoffending chance of about 25%, and you've passed 2 programs, and that could be behavioral therapy, that could be treatment to drugs or Alcoholics Anonymous, or even spiritual guidance. If you've passed 2 of those programs for 5 days and you meet 6 out of 7 criteria, you are more than welcome to jump to this island, medium security, where we're instantly gonna start off with the room quality. Look at that. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and a 3, and a 5 over here. However, not only that, the yard, the gymnasium, the canteen, the common room, and even the classroom are all quality 6 out of 10. This classroom only serves for foundation education, nothing else. And as I've said before, the foreman that was originally in this office has moved down to here to only teach. Let me check. I keep forgetting. Program. Workshop safety induction. So, prisoners can only learn to operate the workshop once they're in medium security. However, why do I even have a workshop in maximum security then? We'll get to that later. That involves the countermeasures to the cleared for transfer. So, everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. However, I've also given the medium security a library. Maximum security does not have a library, but medium security and minimum security do. So they have a bit of literacy. Also, something that I kind of want to do still, BA system. There. And there. Which means that there and there. Okay. Basically, that will serve as a introduction. Once prisoners come in, they'll hear the warden talk over the PA system, welcoming the prisoners to the facility, explaining the rules, explaining how to be a good boy, and the benefits of being a good boy. But going back to medium security, the meal quantity and variety are really what sets the canteen apart. A high quantity, it says quality, but it's actually quantity, generates 2 points right away. And as this one does not have that, and it has a CCTV camera, that is minus 3 points compared to the medium security, so that's why it's only 6. Medium security has access to all other programs that maximum security has access to. So your spiritual guidance, behavioral therapy, Alcoholics Anonymous. They have a little medical ward here for their drug treatment. They have their very small visitation, only 19 capacity, so 2 visitors per time is perfectly fine. And a parole room, of course. They do have their own kennel and armory, very small, but still useful. Also barbed wire all around the outside fence, and also around the fence yard. I like this. They have their own power and water. It is only later during the build that I discovered that you can put the utilities, the pipes, and the electrical cable through the water. I believe at the start when Islandbound was released, that was not the case. Or at least if you were working with lakes, then you couldn't do that. So later down the line you'll see that I am sharing a power station and a water station, a water pump, with a different island. So yeah, just a classroom for 10. The blackboard adds a point. 2 bookshelves would add another point, but only 1 doesn't. So just to have it in, I added that too. They have their own little security area here. Of course, everything is working with weather and temperature. So water boilers here and there. Works perfectly fine. And I've actually already done a little test run of this, and this whole system works. However, when prisoners come in, I say they start out as maximum security, but what about the people that are snitches, ex-law enforcement, ex-prison guards, or if I get the event that gives me federal witnesses? They need a special place as well. This little tiny island. A fun fact about this little tiny island. No, going back to this island first. This was 2 islands, and I've shown you that in episode 0 of Going Green, that these islands were relatively small, and I did some landscaping, terraforming to raise them, connect them all together. However, this island is only about 3 tiles larger in every direction than that this started out. You can pretty much see the outskirts of the wall is 1 or 2 cells away from the outskirts of the original island. So I've really done my best to build this island, or this facility, as close to the island's shape as possible without doing too much terraforming. And so, Protective Custody has not a visitation booth, but a visitor stable in visitation, but only 1, since the capacity is only 18. All of these cells are dormitories. They're all facing the yard, and they don't have any warmth. But as you can see, a water cooler, room quality, will give a point for a dormitory. I've got several, well, not really logical, I know, qualities for these people. I have to build them a whole separate island, so I'm not really gonna care that much about them. So their yard, their gym, their canteen, and their common room are all 4 out of 10. They don't get a classroom, they don't get a workshop, they don't get mail. Yeah, they don't get mail either. No library, not even a chapel. That's why I've thrown in a couple of prayer mats in the yard and in the common room. That is their spirituality need sorted out. But because I have to build a whole different island for these idiots, I'm not gonna give them that much. And excuse me while I take a sip of my drink because my throat is starting to ache a little. Also, randomly placed solitary just to fill up some space, and I didn't know where else to place it. At least they're inside. So yeah. Not really caring much about these people. They should be glad that I'm allowing them to remain separate. However, should it happen that I have more people that I can handle here, I can always resort to the permanent lockup punishment for those individuals. And in that case, they will remain in their cells in probably maximum security, because that's where they will come in, until there's a place available for them, and then I'm gonna forget about them. But there's something else about protective custody that I'll get into a little later down the line. Let's head up to the north. Not this yet. All the way in the west, or the east, sorry. We have our island for the criminally insane. It's the only island connected with a ferry. I'm using bridges for everything else. So you have to go past a little bit of medium security in order to get to the protective custody. However, I'm using a ferry for criminally insane. And criminally insane has something very interesting. I've given them a flower garden for their flower therapy sessions. I do believe, namely, that the flower therapy is a well-being program, and since criminally insane inmates do not work, they do not learn, but they can still follow their well-being programs, and since flower therapy is set as a well-being program, I'm pretty sure they can follow that program. It's therapeutic anyway. It calms them down, and that is something you want for your criminally insane. So, according to the criminally insane wing grants, I needed 2 psychiatrists, with each having their own office. These, at the moment, however, are quality 0. And I want to have them as 5. But why is that the case? If I can select the proper thing, thank you, I go to Psych Ward, and as you can see, there are a few things locked. The leather sofa, the medicine cabinet, the Rorschach test, the flipboard, and the anatomy model. They are all locked behind psychiatry sessions. So these guys will have to run their sessions 10 times, 20, 30, 40, and 50, before I can get these rooms to 5 out of 5. And that's something that I definitely want to do for this prison. Because I want my criminally insane inmates to be as normal as they can be. Criminally insane has a capacity of 28. I do have a place for overflow with a holding cell, a padded holding cell. Because the only way that I get criminally insane inmates, something that I turned off at the start of the playthrough, but I think I've turned it back on again. Yes. My own inmates can turn criminally insane, purely based on their experiences in the prison, most likely maximum security. Prisoners can become criminally insane, and then they'll be transported over to here, where they will live out the rest of their days. Since padded cells are not gradable, as I can show you that, to fill in some space and create some capacity, I do have a couple of small cells, the 2x2s. Therefore, these have the comfy beds, whereas the rest has regular beds, even the bigger rooms. This was basically how I started. This island was also 2 islands. So around here, there was a little water around this area, and I just, through terraforming, connected both islands to one. And, yeah. The laundry over here, and the cleaning cupboard over here. Question: is that a cleaning cupboard? Answer: no. That's an armory. Now it's a cleaning cupboard. Okay. The laundry, the cleaning cupboard, as well as the kitchen, as well as the mailroom, are all operated by staff. As I mentioned, criminally insane inmates will not work. And I'm gonna be removing these chairs as well, because otherwise we're just gonna end up with an infinite amount of food trays. Which reminds me, I need to check. Oh, I didn't give these guys chairs in there. That is true. And what about here? I did. So no, I want the chair. Thank you. Chair. Guard, go here so I can quickly get the chair. Thank you. Same with this. Thank you. And I'll fix the others later down the line when we get there. So, criminally insane. The mailroom, common room, mailroom, the laundry and cleaning cupboard are all staff operated because they don't work. However, as I mentioned, criminally insane will still follow their well-being programs. So, behavioral therapy in here, Alcoholics Anonymous, their own psychiatric sessions, possible flower therapy, as well as spiritual guidance. They will follow those, and that's why you have them. They have their visitation area directly connected to the parole. They have a slightly larger armory and a slightly larger kettle, purely so that I can increase the capacity of that. This was, I believe, security. Yes, that was supposed to be security. Due to the update from Islandbound to Going Green, a lot of stuff was broken, and I had to redo a lot of stuff. So security, that was this. Thank you. However, for criminally insane, the one thing that I didn't talk about yet are the room qualities. Now, why is this a 4? I'm gonna add a water cooler. Because I did add a water cooler, it just hasn't been installed yet. So, the room qualities for the rooms that they can use, all a 5 out of 10. Same reason. These people are special snowflakes, and for them I had to build an entire new island, so I'm not gonna give that much attention to them. You know, this is self-sufficient. They will work it out here, and if not, then oh well, let them go to shit. However, let's go to the biggest expansion over here. This is not one expansion, but two. Originally, before Going Green was announced, the idea was that I would start with a small map, expand once, expand once, expand once, expand once. However, since I did want to implement Going Green on minimum security, excuse me. I'm gonna have to pause it because I'm going severely into the red. Because I wanted to implement Going Green on minimum security, I decided that I couldn't fit it in. I tested it, I tried to plan it, and it didn't work. So, instead, I decided, might as well just do a double expansion on the left, so that I can increase the capacity a little bit, and throw in everything and everything. Even a little hedge maze. And this hedge maze is a quick build. Grove, flower garden. Where was it? There. So, yeah. Just a hedge maze that I decided to build. Also, little fun thing. I believe it's a outdoor lake that you see over here. Just for shits and giggles. And this should resolve itself in a moment. I added water spouts in the yard just for aesthetics. But I do have to have the drains in front of them, otherwise it's just gonna be a mess. However, welcome to what I call Island Paradise. Why is that? Not just because it has a 40 capacity. Not just because it has everything and everything, but because room quality starts out with 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, and 15. Not just that. The common room, the gym, the classroom, the canteen, and the yard, all the highest possible quality. And the little staff room and security up there. Not just that. I do have a classroom. However, minimum security has access to literally every single one of the educational stuff. So, not just foundation education, but also general education. I guess I'll stop this for now. And this too. And this. And that. We'll sort that out later. But farmwork safety is also held inside of the classroom. And minimum security has access to that. You already see solar panel development. And you also, at the very top, again, so not just workshop safety induction, but also carpentry apprenticeship. Minimum security has access to all of that as well. So if you want to learn to work with carpentry or the solar panel development, you need to be behaving well enough for long enough. Because not only does it take 5 days and a whole bunch of other stuff to get from maximum security, where you come in, to medium security, it also takes another 5 days on top of that, as well as no affiliation with any gangs whatsoever, as well as an additional program passed and a less estimated chance of reoffending. And then, and only then, once you passed all of that, will you enter Island Paradise, medium security. Nice 4-wide stone path with flower fields, flower garden, flowery fields along the side. Nice blue walls with blue carpet. Classy blue walls on the outside, all around. A fun little fact, by the way. This was 3 islands on one expansion and 3 islands on the other expansion. However, once I connected them together to form one massive island, the way that this southern wall runs, including this little area here, especially this little area over here, this is how the islands were connected. Only afterwards, once I didn't have a place to put in the green energy sources, that is when I decided to throw in this plot of land over here and purely make that for green energy. But yet, this entire island is powered by green energy. All of it. Medium security has their flowery garden over here for the flower therapy. They have the forestry over here for forestry labor. And they have one of each fruit orchard, one of each vegetable allotment. They are here, 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 and here. And then 2 farming fields with drip pipes. And this is why I don't like drip pipes whatsoever. Just a waste of space. For the farming fields. And as you can see, I've already automated everything. Not really according to my what you saw in the last video of going green, the optimal layout for automated farms. But this was just like, okay, this is the space that I have to work with, that I've got to work with. I have to work with it somehow, so this is how I'll do it. So that this entire area with the pantry over here is purely for the going green stuff and a little bit of forestry labor. However, this is where I need to do one more thing. Checkpoints. And I don't have enough money for that. Do I have the chance to borrow some cash? No. But I do have that, so we'll do this here and this here. And then quickly in deployments, prisoner direction, this here, that there, no visitors, others, this here, and that there. Okay. So they should be checked once they're going in, and they should be checked once they're going out. This is how it has to be. Okay, so that is done. That has been taken care of. Yeah. For all of the stuff that can be exported from your fruit orchard and the vegetable allotments, I have 50% set to exports, which I can show in here, or 50, no, 50, and 7% is divided over all of the kitchens. And since, excuse me, the farming fields are just exports, that is 100% exports. So as you can see, this is quite a clusterfuck. And it took me quite a while to manually select, you go over there, and then over there, and over here, and over there. That was quite an annoyance, but I managed to do it. So yeah. I think that pretty much solves everything. They have their mailroom, they have their library, they have their shop. Oh yeah, protective custody also doesn't have a shop, I do believe. Nope. Not at all. Criminally Insane doesn't have a shop either because they don't work. And since it's an island, they're just gonna have to live with it. And I do believe that I have the security room over yonder. So once again, dump all the chairs. No, dump. excuse me. This is gonna take a little while. Oh, this is a staff room. That is true. So technically it's okay that they do this, but I still don't want that. Okay. So yeah, they have the little, cleaning cupboards over here. Their infirmary with them work. A hedge maze, because why not? And as you see, the nicest possible cells. The nicest possible rooms. And everything available. This is Island Paradise. Also, on top of here, this is a homage to all of the people that have died thus far. I intend to fill this island up with all the gravestones. So, hopefully, we'll see this island fill up with gravestones. I had a little spot over here left that I didn't do anything with, and I was just like, might as well. Just for shits and giggles. So, Island Paradise. Let's go to Island Hell. Welcome to Supermax. Total capacity. 40 again. With a holding cell for overflow. Let's see quickly again. Get rid of the chairs. There we go. A little kennel, little armory. But 4 canteens. A little weird. And what are these 2 weird common rooms? Well, allow me to explain. Why is this island hell? Everything is 0. Let's start with the cells. It's not just 0. If you look closely, you will see -1 point for an old bed, -1 point for surrounded by depressing walls, -1 point for having no windows, and -1 point for having a PA system in the cell block, which you can find over here and over here. Since I'm not closing this off entirely, this entire thing counts as a cell block. So that's why I can place them over here and still have them count as that. Awful cells, I know. And then foam mattresses in the holding cell, just because. However, why do I have 4 canteens? -1 for low quantity, -1 for low variety, no windows, and a CCTV camera. However, why are they so small? Because there's +1 point if you have a room size of at least 20 squares, which I don't have. And let me quickly check, am I still recording? Thank goodness I am. Okay. I've been becoming a little paranoid lately with OBS just not functioning properly. However, since I didn't want to get that 1 point for 20 squares or more, I have to make them 18 squares, 6 by 3 internally. And since they can only seat 6 people at a time, that's why they are so small. One of the new items in Going Green is the small serving table, which was a godsend. Because that just gave me a little bit of room for a recycling bin. So yeah, because I have 40 capacity and only 6 places per canteen, that's why I have 4 canteens. But they are the worst canteens possible. You saw it. The common rooms only have 1 minus point, a CCTV camera in there. But why do I have 2? And why is this one the one with all the chairs, and this one only has the prayer mats? Supermax does not get a chapel, so this is the only place where they can sort out their religious needs, if they have them. However, I still needed a common room for Alcoholics Anonymous. That's why you have these 7 chairs. But why do I have weight benches in them? I've done some serious tests in the past, And I've discovered that gangs will not be interested if you don't put in the right items. But I still wanted the gangs to contest these two common rooms. As you can see, all of the common rooms and all of the other rooms that can be contested are contestable. Even those. Of course, we shouldn't see any gang members try to contest medium security or minimum security, because I've said it so that gang members are not allowed in here. But what I discovered, if you put in nothing at all inside of your common room, except weight benches. Of course, weight benches don't add anything to the quality of the room, but gangs will still be interested in taking them over. That's why both of the common rooms have a couple of weight spaces in, and of course the CCTV camera for -1 point. Now, the yards. I have 2 yards. -1 point. Room size 50 squares or below. Internally, they're 7 by 7. Why? Because 7 by 7 is the minimum size for a gymnasium. So, -1 point for that. Mud flooring, 50% or more, and a PA system. Well, it's just a sandstone path, and everything else is mud. And the PA system here is in the north, and here in the south. And of course the wooden statues, because why not? This is misery, but still, weight spacious, because otherwise gangs will not want to contest for them. And lastly, the gymnasium. The only negative point that they can have is no windows, but it needs a single weight bench and a single gym mat to be a valid room. So, for symmetry's sake, I added 2, and then a table tennis for some sort of entertainment, because their common rooms don't have that. And then over here, I've added some wooden stools. Staff can sit there. If inmates want to sit there, if they're like waiting for their medical appointment or waiting for their parole or visitation. That's basically the idea. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, just misery. Misery. They have a shower block with benches, a very small cleaning cupboard, a very small laundry, no library, no shop, no mailroom, no chapel. Ah yeah, and I'm looking at my sheet. There's one more thing that I forgot to add unpurposely. No hot water in the showers. That's right. We're giving these bastards cold showers, just to add to the misery. Also, they have no heating in here. There's just heating in the staff area, and what is this? Contraband. Nothing serious. So, the staff area is warm and toasty. Where do I have that? But everywhere where the prisoners are, not. Just more misery. Just because. However, there's a place that is even more miserable. And of course, I'm talking about this island. I say that the room qualities, the cell qualities, is not actually -4, but -3.5. As you see, a minus point for a foam mattress and a minus point for an old bed. Now you can't have 2 beds in a single cell, otherwise you'd have to make it a dormitory. But, take a look. The old bed that all of these cells have is 50 bucks. A foam mattress is only 10. So I'd say if a cell has a foam mattress, it is a worse quality than a cell of equal quality but with an old bed. That's why they have -3.5 and Death Row has -4. But let us talk on how to get into Supermax. As you can see, no matter what misconduct you do, no matter if you are in minimum or medium security, if you're involved in any misconduct at all, you go to maximum security. But there are two things that I absolutely despise in Prison Architect. If a prisoner tries to escape and fails, and if a prisoner murders somebody. Those are the only two ways that any prisoner that is not on death row and that is not criminally insane, because that is simply not a possibility. Although this somehow is, but I'm not doing that, of course. Only through murder and escape attempts can prisoners become Supermax. Does that mean that this is the end of their life? Nah. They're just gonna have to behave very well for a total of 10 days. No staff assaults, no staff murders, or inmate murders, no escape attempts, no contraband. If you're a gang leader, then you're screwed. I might, if I'm feeling generous, decide, okay, gang leader of the Green Gang, you know what, go back to maximum. But that is only at my personal discretion. And only if you pass one program, which in this case can only be Alcoholics Anonymous, behavioral therapy, or drug treatment, and you pass 6 out of 7 of these requirements, then you go back to maximum security, where basically you have to start all over again. However, I did say that in terms of protective custody, there was one more thing I had to say. Because I have to make an entire new facility for protective custody, and you want to keep these guys safe at all times, they don't go to maximum security if they are involved in any misconduct. However, I despise escape attempts and murder so much that even these guys are not safe. These guys, protective custody guys, ex-law enforcement, snitches, ex-prison guards, etc., if they murder or try to escape, they too are bumped up straight to Supermax. However, at that point in time, I no longer care about them. I don't care if they do have a target on their back, which is most likely the case for these prisoners, especially the federal witnesses. But, whatchamacallit, if a protective custody guy murders somebody and therefore goes to Supermax, he's pretty much a dead guy already. But, of course, there is a chance, a slight chance, that he does not have a target on his back. And then this applies for him, that he eventually goes into maximum security. And then that way, that is pretty much the only way that a protective custody guy can eventually find his way over to minimum security. But I think he's dead before that, or even released. So yeah, that's a little fun thing about this. Now, let's talk about why I have high cell gradings for the lower levels of security and low cell ratings for the high levels of security, and why every single misconduct gets you sent back to maximum security. At the start of the video, when I was introducing maximum security with their cell grading, I mentioned that prisoners will come in if they didn't serve any sentence yet with a quality 0, and every day that they do behave, they go up by 1. But if they are involved in any of the misconducts, that right to a high quality cell is instantly taken away and reset to 0. But, as I mentioned, medium security and minimum security don't have quality 0 cells. That is why every misdemeanor except escape and murder gets you sent back straight to maximum. So there's constantly a flow of how prisoners move, and it's done automatically because of the claim for transfer, which is this screen, and because of the policies for misdemeanors and the punishments that I've set up myself. So what I try to do with this is incentivize, try to motivate the prisoners to behave well, to not do that dangerous contraband, to not start murdering, to not do just to behave well, so that, you know, through the grapevine, you know, the prisoners come in, and then during their time in here, the first few days, they hear about like this other island where they have better meals, where you can start learning to work in the workshop. Because hey, maximum security has a workshop, but I can't work there because I don't know how that stuff works. I want to learn it, and that is also, as I wanted to talk about that still, why the maximum security workshop actually exists is also because if a medium or minimum security prisoner has already passed the workshop safety induction or even carpentry apprenticeship, and then he's, let's say, we found some drugs on him, he gets sent back to maximum security. Now he's still capable of working in the workshop because he's already learned how to do that. Other prisoners can't. But let's say that a random new prisoner just sees somebody work in the workshop, and then during yard time he says like, hey, how come you work in the workshop? How can I do that? It's like, nah, you have to go to minimum security or medium security first, then you can learn how to do that. And then this new prisoner might get the incentive like, oh wait, so if I behave well enough, then I can learn how to work in the workshop in medium security. That'll be more beneficial for me. So that's basically the whole idea, is just to like really try to motivate prisoners to become better people. And their good behavior is not just rewarded by better quality meals, better variety meals, nicer cells, more educational programs and possibilities. Not just once, not even twice. And once they leave, if they are minimum security, and once they leave, then they should be at their best behavior. They should have absolutely no problem to reintegrate into society and be the best they could possibly be. Probably way better people than before they came in. That is basically the idea of this entire facility. And of course, if they go insane during their time, we have a nice little island right over here. But it is now time for the fun part. And this little island did not exist. Welcome to my death row island. And it's actually a good thing that I'm still on the room quality, because as you see, also -1 for a foam mattress bed, which is, as I mentioned before, a cheaper version of the bed, the cheapest form, therefore I'd say lower quality, surrounded by depressing walls, rusty walls, no windows, and a PA system right over here. This entire thing counts as a cell block, and therefore now let's see if I did not dump these yet. I see Garbage. Ah, I did dump those. Good. So, yeah. Death row is meant to be the most depressing. Better yet, even your way from the helicopter to death row is meant to be depressing, because you have to walk on these pallets that barely float, so you really have to watch your step, or else you'll be coming in with wet feet. That's the idea. So, completely iron floored, rusty walls. Again, cold showers, but I do believe, and don't quote me on this, as long as a death row inmate does not have a shower in his own cell, he will not shower. At least that is what I think. So there's a good chance that these showers will never get used, which will lead to smelly death row inmates. Excuse me. Again, I have to pause it. So yeah, the execution, couple chairs around here so that people can watch, a little kitchen, so that they can still eat. But the real kicker comes into their punishment. Every misconduct that they have is punishable with solitary. Murder and escape attempt as well. But as far as I'm aware, death row inmates will never try to escape. But a fun thing about solitary, as you can see with a regular cell, it needs to be enclosed by walls and doors, and it needs to be indoors. Solitary does not have to be indoors. So, my death row inmates, if they do any misconduct, they're gonna have to go outside. But wait, I'm using weather and temperature, and right now it's winter and only 5 degrees. Now, I've done a playthrough in my own time, a couple of years ago, where I played on a map with, let me quickly go to mutators, endless winter. So it was always intensely cold. Now, what I learned in this playthrough is that if you have a yard and you have the endless winter on, no matter how good your yard is, because it was already in the Cleared for Transfer DLC, so I could already grade the yard the best that I could, prisoners will not go outside. And prisoners that are left outside for too long will die of hypothermia. Oh, wait. Solitary is outside. And solitary sentences, well, if they try to escape, it's a full day. If they murder somebody, it's 12 hours per murder. It's basically the same as Supermax. But, yeah, that's the thing. If they are stuck outside and it's winter and it's freezing, then these guys might die of frostbite. Which is completely intentional. But that's not all. And I believe me, when I was building this, I built this with a massive smile on my face. Because I knew exactly just how horrible I could make this. There's also something about the flooring. It is mud. So, in the rain, in the cold, in the mud. But, as you can see, even my Supermax guys have toilets in their solitary. These guys, death row, do not have toilets in their solitaries. And I say, quotation marks, that the floor is mud. But is it mud? Since they do have to do their number 1 and number 2 outside without a toilet. So whether or not the grounds going into solitary is mud is questionable. On purpose. I made this with a massive, massive smile on my face. And I absolutely love this. And this was pretty much the idea from the get-go. Originally, it only had 4 capacity, but I was just like, I need more. More death row. That's how I did. So I added 3 more cells, and done. This area is just pure death and misery. Literal hell on earth. And that concludes the grand tour of the All DLC Archipelago. Now let's talk about how I'm going to approach the rest of this playthrough, because right now I have no prisoners, but I still want you guys to see how this prison functions. With the cleared for transfer, with the criminally insane, with all the new programs, etc. So, in my own time, I'm going to be recording about 3 in-game days per video. I'm gonna start with the intake at 8 o'clock in the morning. For the first day, it'll just be that, because it's just gonna be prisoners. And for the first little while, I'm only gonna bring in, for the first 4 episodes. So I think that the first episode will be 4 in-game days. And I'm gonna be filling up the maximum security island. So I'm gonna bring in about 10 to 12 prisoners each day. And I'm gonna record me taking them in, so that you can see if we have death row inmates and which prisoners need to go to this little stupid island over here. On day 2, what I'm gonna add at 8 o'clock is to see if prisoners are eligible for transfer to medium security. I'm gonna see if we have prisoners that have become criminally insane. And I'm gonna do that for every single in-game day. I'm gonna be recording the start and the entire process of every single event that I'll have once I have 50 or more inmates. Because the in-game events will only start activating once you have 50 or more inmates. Since I have death row, I'm gonna be recording every single execution. I'm gonna do the first execution very slowly. I'm gonna explain every single step of the way. But the next executions after that, I'm gonna do just high speed, just blast through the entire thing. And for the first execution, I even have something very special planned. You're really gonna get a front row seat, so to say. So yeah, every execution. We're working on the overproduction grant, as I've explained in the final episode of Going Green. This is a redoable grant. So after 120 hours, I was wrong saying it was 80 something hours. It's actually 120 hours. Once this grant is done, it's gonna take 120 hours before I can redo that grant. I'm not gonna bring you guys in once this grant is completed, but I'll mention it in passing. But I will inform you guys once I've completed the Reform Through Education initiative, if I even manage to get that done. Because that's gonna be a pretty long way away. And I'm gonna inform you guys once I have the Carpentry Apprenticeship grant done as well. In terms of the green energy goals, I've completed everything except goal number 8. I'm not gonna do goal number 8 because that would mean that I would have to shut down all of the power stations in here for 10 days, and you know how boring that was. Which reminds me, did I do that? Yes, I did do the eco-friendly since I didn't have any inmates. That was an easy grant to do. But yeah, green energy goal number 8, I'm not gonna do that. Should it happen that green energy goal number 6 gets done during this process, I'll show that. I'll highlight it. I'll check it on a daily basis as well as part of the video. So yeah, that's gonna be it. I still haven't done the tool cleanup grant just yet. I need 40 inmates for that. And before I stopped recording, the capacity was, I believe, either 32 or 38, or 34 even. Yeah, 34. So I did do the crackdown on drugs, but not the tool cleanup. I'm gonna bring you guys in. It's probably gonna be the second episode after this, where I'm gonna start doing that. So I guess that the first episode will be 4 days, and then every episode after that is gonna be 3 days, because my original plan was to record 7 days worth of content in game, of course, and then make that into a single video, but that was nearly 2 hours long, and I don't want to bore you guys with that too much. So what I'm thinking, this is episode 6, so episode 7 is gonna be 4 days, 8 is gonna be 3 days, 9 is gonna be 3 days, 10 is gonna be 3 days. I think that I might actually run this all the way up to episode 20. It's either gonna be 15 or 20, because a lot of stuff can happen in the meantime. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like, how things will go. Of course, the main attraction is gonna be this area, that area, this little area, that little area, this, and only on day 5 we can see stuff happening over here. So that will be the second video already. So yeah, just see how things go. I'm not gonna promise anything on how long I'm gonna do it, because I still have another series that I want to do, a very challenging one that I talked about in the last episode of the Going Green as well. So yeah, I think that I've rambled on long enough. Once again, I'm gonna leave a link in the movie description to where you can download this prison. No prisoners are inside. All of the programs have been activated. All of the staff has been hired. So you can immediately get started with this. Turn on intake and have fun. I hope you have fun with this. If you do, leave a comment if you downloaded this. Want to know. Would appreciate it. Filter capacity. No. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's I'm gonna talk about that in the actual video once it's time. What I'm gonna do, total prisoners 15, 17. I'm gonna do a mix intake of minimum, medium and maximum, but on intake I'm going to make all of them maximum security. Reason is, I believe that if a prisoner comes in as medium security but is set to maximum security, that prisoner will be more likely to want to transfer. Whereas maximum security prisoners may be like, nah, this is fine. Or they are more likely to end up over here. So we're gonna do it like this. Death row will be always max, as you can see. First episode, we're gonna receive 5 death row inmates right away. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna save it over here. I hope that you've enjoyed this little tour. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you're gonna download this map, or if you already have. I am Paul with many voices, no longer the one with many voices. I thank you all for watching. And I will see you all next time at around 8 o'clock in the morning for the first intake of this prison. See you guys then.